Every day they're out there making DuckTales. My feet. My legs are hurting bad. Yes, I had a hard time walking today. Out there making DuckTales. I'm tired of talking. Every day they're out there making DuckTales. And my knee hurts. It's been a hard time walking, but yeah. Yes, we did a dance. That was basically our whole callbacks. And then after I was done, I was going to do YouTube videos, but I was also going to watch Back to the Future because I felt like watching Back to the Future. I felt like I wanted to watch time travel. I haven't seen Back to the Future in 9 months. I'm making videos at noon, and I was going to post them at 12:30. But unfortunately, I've been spending 6 hours looking for Back to the Future stuff instead. And then I watched a few episodes of DuckTales because I was tired, so I thought I would just watch episodes of Bella and stuff. 6 weeks looking for my DVDs, couldn't find them, and I couldn't purchase them, and all that weird stuff. And then I watched DuckTales, took a break. Now I'm making YouTube videos. My legs still hurt after all that looking, and I don't know. DuckTales from Della Duck. That's a TV series now. DuckTales. No, it's not. DuckTales. Every day they're out there making DuckTales. If I stop repeating myself. Yeah, I watched that for an hour. From 6 to 7. Now it's around 7 o'clock, and I'm sorry. But once I make these videos, it's probably a little bit after 7:30, and when I'm posting this video specifically, this DuckTales review, it's 8 o'clock. I'm so sorry. I don't want to spend too much time editing, so I'll try to keep it short. So now we're going to talk about the 87 cents piece. So here's what happened. One of Scrooge's enemies is Golfer McDuck, the guy who likes playing golf, and he stole 87 cents of Scrooge's money. However, Scrooge knows him very well and tricks him into getting his 87 cents back, so he's very happy, But for some reason, the next morning, the golf player guy finds a machine that freezes the whole entire world, and he goes and he keeps freezing them, and then goes to the park and realizes for a whole year that they are not moving at all. So, anyway, he wakes up the next morning, and after a year of freezing the whole world, that means Louie, Bluey, and Dewey are 11 years old. Because he digs through his gold and realizes he's missing 87 cents. When he doesn't realize it's in his pockets. I didn't know it was in his pockets at the time, but I was telling him to check his pockets because he might be overthinking things. However, after watching the whole episode, I can see why it happened. Anyway, Scrooge dies, they have a funeral, and, well, yeah. Goofy Duck is so happy because since Scrooge got gold fever, he was about to lose his whole mansion, his whole rich job. So, since he lost it and it was given to Gold, he was so happy, but then realized Scrooge was still alive. And Scrooge and the Ducklings actually found out what he did. He froze everyone for a whole year, and after they explained his situation, Goofy gave up. He exposed himself, they went to jail, and then even Donald thought Scrooge died. And so after Donald left, and everyone realized Scrooge was alive, they went to tell Donald that Scrooge was alive. And Donald was like, oh, thank goodness, right? It was horrible. Scrooge still had his 87 cents, and explained his little mischief that he experienced after he woke up, And so after saving the mansion and explaining to reporters and all that, he gets a break, and I can't remember the exact last scene of the episode, but I know it ends when he is enjoying time with his little ducklings. And that's the end for DuckTales review! But we're not done with the episode yet! Right now. And I don't usually make DuckTales this short, it's just that I want to make my videos easier to post. So ending it at around 8 to 9 minutes, because I just went to check to see how long it was. It will still be a long video, but at least we're doing 2 episodes instead of 1. And it's in 1 video still, so I am doing another video after this. I was planning to do 2 DuckTales this weekend, but then again, catching up on my life situation. Get it? So we're doing 2 episodes in 1 video. So we're still doing another video after this, just not DuckTales. And normally you would think, well, what about that new board game that I made? I can't show you still so I'm going to update my Back to the Future thing. So go watch my new Back to the Future video. It's similar to the Santa Claus video that we made. I'm thinking about playing all 3 trailers, and since I hate odd numbers, there is another trailer to the first one. So I'll do that, just like with the Santa Claus, it was the second one. One of these days we'll have to do Toy Story, because there is actually 4 Toy Stories. Just as long as they don't make a 5, right? But yeah, we'll do that, okay? The next DuckTales. So, last time when I did DuckTales, what episodes did we review? We already did 7. Okay, I think we did 8 and 9. So right now I'm reviewing episodes 10 and 11, basically. So I just reviewed episode 10. Now episode 11 is the not Della Duck story. Takes 3 episodes long, and I'm just going to tell you the part 1 version of it. Next week I'll talk about part 2 and 3 in 1 video. You guys can see on here, 87 cents solution. I just talked about that. If you want to look at the description really quickly, the kids must stop Scrooge he's unhealthy, obsession with a few missing coins to keep him from becoming the next Gloom Gold. So this one has 2 things going on. As Della rebuilds her ship, Panobra, who is an alien, by the way, becomes convinced Della's planning an attack. Della is not planning an attack, guys. You know she's a good person, but this alien thinks otherwise. Meanwhile, Donald's nap keeps getting interrupted by adventure. So, that's your storyline. Donald was taking a nap, and then the ducklings interrupted his nap to ask if they can watch a horror rated R movie, I would say, for their time. No, it's just something like PG-13, something you wouldn't show to a little kid, but to an adult. They wanted to watch it. They tried to make it seem cool, so they tried to avoid that they were borrowing one of his scary movies. And since Donald didn't know it was one of his scary movies he watched as a kid, he didn't mind the little boys watching it. However, it was a movie about people coming back to life as zombies, and Donald starts having a nightmare about that. Zombies try to come up and disturb his napping. Ends up getting caught by one zombie, and unfortunately he loses a lot of hair. And then he loses more hair, and he got this thing from the doctor saying that he needs to take his nap, so he doesn't lose feathers. So he keeps losing feathers because he can't take a nap. That's basically how it starts. I feel like there was a scene before that when they were all with Scrooge, but Donald was just like, he's tired, so yeah, he goes to sleep. And then Bluey interrupts his nap again and mentions he's kind of a god and he flies, right? With wings. However, Hercules gave that to him, and Zeus is not really happy. He's striking lightning down on them. Fortunately, he misses a few times, but then he ends up hitting Donald, and he gets electrocuted a million times. Normally, you would die by that, but since this is fantasy, this DuckTales show, he doesn't die after all that lightning. Fortunately, Bluey has enough and tries to go be rude to Zeus, and Zeus tries to be rude back, and Hercules tells him to stop, and unfortunately, that doesn't work. Zeus doesn't want to get his son Hercules. However, he wants to get Donald and Bluey, and he gets Donald a lot, but he can't get Bluey. He gives up and says, okay, you win, right? He still has a god. He still has his wings. Bluey does, but Zeus gives up on trying to kill him, So, fortunately, that makes Hercules and Bluey happy. Now they can go fly together as gods. Donald tries to find somewhere else to nap, and unfortunately he gets sucked inside a hole to the terrestrial world, and then he gets back out, finally goes to, sleep, and actually Scrooge and Bluey go along with him in the portal. Once they all come out, Donald goes to sleep, and then he gets interrupted. Scrooge wanted to surprise Donald with a vacation because, they keep interrupting his nap with all these adventures, right? Luckily, our lives are not like theirs, right? So, good thing. We always have a nap in our life, at least nighttime. So, they give Donald a cruise to go on. And unfortunately, Scrooge and his family were planning to go with him. Della's ship flies in, and he goes to the ship, and he doesn't see Della's in the ship, because obviously she got out. However, he looks in it. After he can't find Della, he accidentally pushes a launch button, and he can't get out, and so he goes all the way to the moon, where the aliens arrest him. That's the end of that was actually the last scene before the credits. The aliens arrest Donald. Right? Oh, should I skip this back so you can see the table? There we go. And then Della is trying to prepare her ship. And this alien girl, who is the daughter of this alien guy, the alien who's in charge of all aliens, actually trusts Della. She's not a threat, right? However, his daughter disagrees and tries to fight her, but Della tells her to stop. She just wants to get home to her kids. They share gold so that they don't get any more attacks, And she's almost done with her rocket. If you remember our video of how she survived on the moon the past 10 years, right? She ends up building the rocket, and this episode is when she finishes it. However, she interacts with the aliens, and then the next day, when Donald's about to go on his cruise trip, the little girl who's always jealous of Della, she's like, she's not pure evil, but oh well. Anyway, she's not evil at all, though. The little girl, that girl who's the daughter of the chief of aliens in outer space, decides to, push the launch button. So there's like 10 seconds left. Della wakes up and realizes, oh shoot, my rocket's leaving. She chooses her family over the aliens, which is fine, right? You'd do anything to get back to your kids. Anyway, she gets in the rocket. Okay, but before I talk about the setup, after interaction, the other aliens have nothing to do about this setup. And I'll talk about it in a second. But the aliens were adored by Della, and they wanted to go with her, and she mentioned how she couldn't. However, she had a plan to, and since the girl was too jealous of Della, she accidentally made the rocket go early, and so Della jumps in, and fortunately she promises to give the alien chief a book so that he can build his own rockets and bring his aliens to Earth, right? That's what they want. Anyway, Della leaves. However, after Della leaves, what you would think as an alien, Della attacked the chief. But that's not what happened. The chief shot himself. When an alien chief is a threat to Earth, he was just pretending to be on Della's side, to help her get back home. So that then if Della could share her secrets about rebuilding the rocket, he could build one of his own and then attack Earth, right? And his daughter knew nothing about the scheme. However, after realizing it, she tried to convince him to stop, and how many lives he was risking to fight Earth. He doesn't care about his own alien family. He wants to invade Earth, even if it means killing all his citizens. So he is an evil dude. He is pure evil. And I can't believe they did that. I mean, I thought he was evil at first, and I thought they were going to trick us. However, after Della going home, I thought we were being tricked that he was going to turn evil by staying good. And then eventually, they surprised us just later on after we gave up. This scene also ends when Della comes out of her ship, and she's right in front of Scrooge's, mansion. She doesn't walk in yet, so they still don't know she's alive yet at the end of the episode. She just barely got there. But she's back, and that's the episode. We just reviewed 2 DuckTales, Scrooge's money problem, We talked about how he had gold fever. Gold fever is when you really care about your money, and when one penny is missing, you get mad. You can't even remember that he got it back from Goldfee and put it in his pocket. How funny. Then we watched a struggling episode of Delegating Back Home, And yeah, my movie Stuck in Time, it has all about to do with outer space and the moon. But instead of being stranded on the moon, I fall in a wormhole and go back in time. So don't worry, guys. You still have 6 more months left with me. It's less than 6, but I'm just rounding numbers. So you have a half a year. Just kidding. But the movie's not real, so don't take it seriously. I love to joke with you, especially when I'm making a new movie. How long has this been? However, before we end the video, now I have to cut out a long DuckTales video. I can't believe this. Our next episodes we're going to review next week are Nothing Can Stop Della Duck, okay? And Reindeers of the Doomsday Vault, okay? So we'll be talking about the last 2 episodes of Della Duck. After that, we'll talk about Friendship is Magic, and then another one. And then after that, we only have 1 episode, so we'll just make it an episode review. And then, let's see, how many weekends is that? 3 more weekends of DuckTales. That's the first weekend of June, the 2nd and 3rd. Andy Mack returns on the 4th weekend. There is a 5th weekend. I didn't say she was returning on the last weekend of June. It was the 2nd, the last weekend. So once we finish DuckTales, Andy Mack will come back, and we'll review that. And once we finish that in July, it's the end of July that I'm talking about. Once we finish that at the end of the July, just about a month and a half later, DuckTales will return. So we'll at least have shows to review. If we end up finishing DuckTales and I was wrong about Andy Mack and it actually is on the last weekend of June, we might have an extra weekend of no show reviews. But since Andy Mack's coming back, that should take half of our summer at the end of July. Even though we might not have anything to finish this summer, that's okay too. If we reviewed season 1 of DuckTales last year, they ended their season in August, so that would have been helpful, right? But season 2 is planning to end later, so sorry about that. Season 2 should not take longer than a year, but I'm sorry I'm posting these late. I usually do them Saturday morning, but I've been wasting my time with Back to the Future. I wanted to post my videos during Back to the Future, but since I couldn't find access to them, I wasted my time looking. And, I had tryouts right when I woke up in the morning, callbacks to Newsies, so you understand that. So with that, we'll leave you on the Brattle Band. Sonny Mills is out. Bye.